Welcome to a journey unlike any other, a journey through the shadowy corridors of America's past, where crime, curiosity, and culture collided on the glossy pages of true detective magazines. My name is Shaylin, and if you're listening now, you're about to become part of a community that finds fascination not only in the infamous deeds of the past, but also in the way these stories shaped and were remade by the world around them. My own fascination with true crime is something I feel deep within my bones, almost as if it's written into my DNA. I grew up in a home where my mother, a woman of quiet habit and sharp wit, devoured every true crime magazine she could get her hands on. She kept her collection tucked away, hidden from my curious eyes, always worried that such tales might warp my sense of the world. But life has a way of circling back, and after she passed, I discovered her secret treasure trove. Stacks and stacks of those very magazines, yellowed with age but bursting with stories that cry out to be told once more. Now, as I find myself embracing my golden years with all the wisdom and perspective that time brings, I feel it's my calling to dust off these stories and share them with you. This is Shaylin's channel, and together, we're going to dive deep into the wild, weird, and at times wicked world of America's true crime detective magazines. Opening the pages, our story begins in the roaring 1920s, at the height of the Jazz Age. The nation was in the grip of prohibition, a grand experiment that aimed to rid society of vice, but instead gave rise to new kinds of criminals. Ordinary men and women became bootleggers and rum runners, while notorious outlaws like Machine Gun Kelly, Bonnie and Clyde, Babyface Nelson, and John Dillinger captured the public's imagination. It was in this heady era, in 1924, that the very first true detective magazine was published. The most notorious of them all arrived at just the right moment. People were hungry for stories of crime and justice, and the magazine delivered them in sensational style. By 1934, as the Great Depression tightened its grip and the exploits of flashy criminals dominated the headlines, true crime magazines soared in popularity. They became so influential that both lawmen and lawbreakers competed to see themselves immortalized in their pages. Even the legendary J. Edgar Hoover, head of the FBI, was a regular contributor, lending his voice and his myth to what became affectionately known as the Dick Books, a nod to the slang term for detective. But the world kept changing, and so did the magazines. As the years rolled on and prohibition faded into history, the Depression ended, and the most notorious criminals either met their end or disappeared behind bars. The true detective magazines faced a new challenge: how to keep readers hooked when the world seemed a little less wild. Their solution? They turned to the forbidden, the risque, and the sensational. Suddenly, the covers were adorned with glamorous, dangerous women, bad girls in tight sweaters, slit skirts, and stiletto heels. The headlines screamed with lurid excitement: "I was a girl burglar, for kicks," "Sex habits of women killers," "Bride of sin," "She played me for a sucker," and the unforgettable Bad Woman. These magazines weren't just reporting crimes. They were reflecting and shaping America's attitudes about sex, sin, crime, and punishment. They were a mirror of our collective fears and fantasies, capturing the dark fascination that lurked just beneath the surface of everyday life. From 1924 to 1969, the true crime detective magazine genre evolved, and, some might say, devolved. What began as a chronicle of real-life detective work and criminal exploits became a carnival of vice and virtue, a strange blend of morality tale and guilty pleasure. Hundreds of magazine titles sprang up, each competing to outdo the other in shock and sensation. Some, like True Detective, became legends in their own right. Others flickered briefly, then vanished, leaving behind only the tantalizing covers and headlines that promised more than they could ever deliver. But what makes these stories so enduring? Why do we return, again and again, to tales of crime and punishment from decades past? Perhaps it's because they remind us that the human condition has always been fraught with temptation and turmoil. Or maybe it's because, in reading about the sins of others, we find a way to confront our own fears and desires. Whatever the reason, the stories collected in these old magazines still have the power to shock, to intrigue, and yes, to entertain. On Shaylin's channel, our mission is to resurrect these forgotten tales and explore the unique era that produced them. Each week, I'll be sharing stories you've likely never heard. Stories unearthed from my mother's carefully hidden collection. Stories that offer a glimpse into the heart of America's true crime obsession. But more than that, I invite you, fellow crime earthlings, to join me in conversation. Every weekday, I'll be hosting a live stream where we can discuss these mysteries, dissect the headlines, and connect over our shared curiosity. Unlike other crime communities, we're not just here to retell the same tired tales or glorify the worst of humanity. We're here to create something different, a space where history, mystery, and community come together. A place where boredom and loneliness are left behind, replaced by lively discussion and new friendships. Whether you're a lifelong true crime fan or a newcomer drawn in by the lure of the unknown, I welcome you with open arms. And to my mother, wherever she may be, I hope she knows that her love of these stories did not corrupt me. Instead, it sparked a passion for history, for storytelling, and for understanding the complexities of human nature. May she rest in paradise, knowing that the tales she cherished are finally seeing the light of day, and that her legacy lives on in every story we share. So, if you're ready to explore the strange and fascinating world of true crime detective magazines, to uncover stories that have been hidden for decades, and to become part of a community that values curiosity and connection, then you've found your home. Remember, my name is Shaylin, and I want to invite you to join with me as we turn the pages of the past and discover what secrets lie within. The adventure is just beginning. In conclusion, I have dug a lot to find the most interesting and chilling crime stories that have been long forgotten about, but I need your help. You know the routine: subscribe, thumbs up, and leave me a word or two so I can tell you when and where to find us for our live stream chat and our Facebook page. See you here or there at Shaylin's channel, where history and mystery collide.